We got him. We finally got him. Chamber changes. In patch 5.12, we'll be making a number of changes to address these concerns about Chamber. And so, let's get into those changes straight away. Headhunter, the Q. Updated stability curve. Spread increased after the second bullet when spamming. This is explicitly meant to reduce low precision body shot spam as an effective combat measure. Okay, so this is a fairly, minor change, I would say, for the most part, but it does make sense, right? Stop spamming your Headhunter. It shouldn't be that effective. Not a massive change. We'll have to see how big the spread is as well. Can you still be accurate with it at all, or is it absolutely, gone? Also, what counts as spamming, right? We'll have to see, but overall, I think good change, right? Then we come to the real changes, though. This is where we're really getting into it. Rendezvous. Chamber now places a single anchor that can be teleported to whilst inside its range. So no more placing two down. There is just one down, and you teleport to it, if you're within that range, right? The radius has increased from 15 to 26 meters. We went back, we tested this, I went into the game. The word rate, whoever is writing this for Riot, okay, learn, go back to school, learn some maths. It's not the radius, it is the diameter, okay? From one side to the other. The radius of the new one is 13 meters. So you can get 13 meters away from wherever that thing is placed, and you can teleport, from 13 meters away. But it's not the radius. I went in the game, checked it. The current one is a diameter of 15, so I'm going to assume that they mean a diameter of 26, because a radius of 26 would be pretty massive. So I'm going to assume that it's a radius of 13, diameter is 26. Remove the teleport activation height restriction, so you can, put it up high if you want and go up. I'm guessing it's going to be like a big sort of cone into the sky, kind of, think of it like that, right? It's just a big circle that goes up into the sky that, you can teleport in that area and always go to where the anchor is. Increase the weapon equip time after teleporting from 0.4 to 0.7 seconds, but the Headhunter is unaffected by it. That's an interesting one. Destroying the Rendezvous teleport anchor now disables it for the remainder of the round instead of it being placed on a cooldown. So once it's gone, if someone destroys that thing, it is gone. So you're going to have to put it in a pretty safe place, right? Where it's not going to get destroyed by a nade or, other utility or anything like that, right? It needs to be somewhere pretty safe that it's not, well, one, you need to teleport to it, and two, it needs to not be able to be easily destroyed. And Chamber no longer incurs an additional cooldown when recalling his anchor after teleporting. So when you teleport, right, you don't have the recall, when you recall the anchor, you're good, right? You can just put it down again. You still will have the cooldown of teleporting, but you won't have the recall of the actual recall part of it. So let's say you're just holding down a certain position. No one is coming there, so you push up slightly, right? You recall the anchor, you pop it down. You keep going, etc., etc., etc. And we have a handy little video here as well. Let me try and see if I can get the map up of this. Just where we are. So you can see how big the circle is there, right? So this is being put into the corner of Hooker, as you can see there on Bind. And that is the kind of, distance that we're looking at here for the Chamber Rendezvous changes. Something kind of like that, right? So as we come into the round, you see we've only got one put down there. In comes this Chamber, right? Looking around, having a thing. But the thing is that's going to be big about this is, right? When you see that Chamber teleport there, you're probably going to be able to, after maybe a bit of time, figure out where that chamber is, because he can't have gone that far away, right? 13 meters isn't a massive distance. So I think that is kind of the crucial thing with this, is that when you teleport like that, you're going to be able to see, well, he's probably about here, right? Because it's going to be only 13 meters away. So you're probably going to be able to get a decent sense of where that might have been placed, right? And then you can then go in and, potentially make a big difference. Now, there was also a weapon change as well with Chamber pulling it out. So after he comes and teleports away, there's that extra bit of delay as well for pulling his weapon out. But we also have some trademark changes as well. The trap is now range restricted. The trademark will disable when Chamber moves out of range and reactivate once he is inside. It now can be recalled mid-round, and that doesn't require line of sight. It gets a 30-second cooldown on recall. The destruction, obviously, if it gets destroyed, it's gone. Initial arm time increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, and the health is increased from 1 to 20. This is not like a major change, but the fact that it is range restricted is going to be a massive, massive thing. And let's just quickly see how big that range is. So again, let me just try and come to a map so you can kind of see that just there. That is what the range kind of looks like. Now, I don't know if that's bigger or smaller than a killjoy range. Kind of looks about the same, to be honest. But on particular maps, this is going to be a big deal, right? On certain maps, it won't be that big, but on others, this is going to be a big deal. Think of maps like Breeze, right? Where you often will go far away from where your trap is. Okay, other maps, maybe Bind is a half decent example, but even like, this is the common place for it on Bind, right? As soon as we actually go towards site, we don't have this down anymore. That's pretty big, right? As soon as we come, I mean, we can't go pushing down showers or down towards long, right? That's a pretty massive deal overall. And so this, I think, is a massive change. I think most people will probably focus on the rendezvous stuff, but this might be, kind of just as big because it really does limit. Now, on the defensive side, I don't think it'll be that big of a problem, right? Let's say, you're playing chamber, you put your trap somewhere here on A, right? This circle is big enough to where you could still be anywhere on this A site and you're still fine. So, defensive side, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal because, this still is a pretty big circle. But in terms of your attacking side, for certain maps like a Breeze, in particular, it's going to be a pretty monumental change because there just isn't going to be a place where you can put that down and know for definitively you are going to stay within that circle the whole round because it's just such a big map. So this could have a monumental change as well. And then finally, the tour de force fire rate has decreased by 57.5%. Which sounds like a lot. I actually haven't seen this, so let's just find out how slow that is, right, compared to the old one. So here we go. Okay, that's quite a bit slower. That does look quite a bit slower overall. Again, a good change, I think, which is good. But yeah, we'll have to see. That's not the biggest change, but to me, and there is some other changes here as well, where the slow has changed the duration from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. That's like a minor change. I don't think that will impact too much. But overall, when we look at all these changes, to me, what this says is like a big thing is if you don't hit that shot, right? If you can't kill your opponent with that first shot, whether it be with a headhunter, right, with the second bullet spamming thing not being as good, whether it be with a rendezvous, you're teleporting, but you're not teleporting that far away, so there's still danger there as well. With the tour de force, the fire rate increasing, right? It all to me seems like if you can't hit that first shot, you are now in trouble. Right, there is danger there, whereas before with the old chamber there wasn't, right? You could TP halfway across the map, you could fire with the headhunter or the tour de force, like, just super fast, right? Now, if, you do miss that first shot, you are in legitimate danger. And I think that this is a really, really good change overall for the game. I think that this, will put Chamber, I think, in a place where he might start to struggle. I think particularly on certain maps, I've mentioned Breeze a couple times, but I do think as well that the trademark nerf is very, very significant for certain maps, and we'll have to see. I think these are really good changes overall, and much like it was with Jet, where we kind of took the third round of nerfs to finally, get her in a good spot. I'm hopeful, and having read this, I do think it's probable that this will be third time's the charm again, where with the chamber nerfs, we will end up with a chamber who is, in an okay spot, still usable on maps. There might be like a big reaction early on, where people are just like, oh, Chamber's awful all of a sudden. Whereas I don't think he will be awful, but I do think, he will be in a balanced state, that we will see, Breeze is now a Cypher map, right? Ascent is now a Killjoy map, maybe Haven becomes a Killjoy map, and we get a more balanced mix of the different, of the different agents on the different maps for the Sentinel class, which is obviously what we all want. So overall, very, very positive in my opinion. I'd love to hear people's comments in the, down below what you think. Is this killing Chamber? Will we never see Chamber ever in the game again? Will we still see Chamber on every single map? Is this not far enough? I'd be interested to see what you guys think in the comments down below. So let me know. And yeah, rejoice. The Chamber nerfs are at least here, and hopefully they are enough.